no, don't take our NIH dollars.
Okay. Greg?
This is the conversation that we're supposed to be having. There is so much fraud, and you bring up Medicare and Medicaid, there are hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud. Imagine you had an icon on your computer screen, and it was of the White House, and you never double-clicked on it, and it was just there. Musk finally double-clicked on it, and we are seeing the files. And it's read-only. Nothing's happening. We're reading the files. And that is enough to scare the poop out of these Democrats. And it's not about constitutionality. It's about the fact that it's a gravy train for them. The Treasury rubber stamped these things. They went right through. There was no control. There was no stopgap. And this is becoming a revelation for people. So when you're a victim of fraud, there are three parties. There's the victim, the perp, and the person you call to stop the fraud. So the Democrats, they aren't the victim. They aren't the people trying to stop it. Who are they? Just by simple logic, they are the perp, and they are embracing the character, saying, oh, my God, you're going to have the Social Security numbers. You idiot. These guys run PayPal. They have the Social Security numbers, you nutbag. They don't even know. Okay, either they're so stupid that they don't know how a business works, that everyone else gets this, that every business does an audit. It's called zero-based budgeting. That's what you do. Every year you start at zero and try and figure out how to cut costs. But they act like it's an act of terror because they've never run a damn business. Coupled to that, it's a gravy train. They've been incentivized to exaggerate certain kinds of programs. Why do victims of disaster not get funds, but there is a trans opera in a foreign country? It's because that incentivized and exaggerated funds that trickle down to people. So you're looking at corruption, you're looking at ignorance, and I'm there for it. And you know what? This isn't going to go away. We double-clicked on the icon.
Yeah, this one.
Definitely.
We will win. We will win. Well, not everybody on the Democratic side is happy with what the Democrats are doing. Congressman Jared Golden of Maine says this: I don't think that it's been very effective, the Dem response so far. In fact, I'm frustrated by it. If you make everything DEFCON 5, then eventually nothing is DEFCON 5. You know what I mean? And on questions of overreach of constitutional authority, it's not always so cut and dry. He got the DEFCON scale backwards. He should have been saying DEFCON 1 instead of DEFCON 5, but we get what he's saying.
Right.
But it seems as though Trump is effectively playing rope-a-dope with the Democrats. They're swinging at everything that he does, and very soon they're going to get punched out.
Well, in their defense, I don't think anybody realized that Trump would come into office and just start doing so much where you're having multiple major actions.
What were they missing?
Each day.
That's what he promised. That's what he said I'm going to do.
It's still pretty impressive. But the other thing that's hard for pushing back against, what Donald Trump is doing is very popular with the American people. So taking on the bloat in the federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. You've got Democrats trying to somehow find a position on which to be opposed to battling waste, fraud, and abuse. It's just very difficult ground. And then, yes, as you note, everything is a crisis. They're trying to get people outraged over everything, and it's just not working.
No.
The more that they do say that they're outraged, the less effective it will continue to be.
So in that same CBS News YouGov poll, a majority of Americans think that Elon Musk should have a lot or some influence over government operations and spending. And then there was a Reuters Ipsos poll last week that found this. When asked, should the U.S. support all suspend all foreign aid, 56% of people said yes, they should suspend all foreign aid, as opposed to 40% who said no. So the Democrats are basically out there screaming from the rooftops that they want to support wasteful spending.
And again, in Washington, D.C., these programs are very popular. These are the programs by which their own friends and family are employed. These foreign aid programs, they work for the nonprofits, the non-governmental organizations that get funded by this. With normal Americans, these are not popular programs. And it's not because they don't like helping out other countries. It's because they don't really like the particular targeted approach that is being taken by our government, and they don't think that it has yielded investments. And then also, they think there are a lot of problems in our country that should be dealt with before we can help others.
Which is why a lot of people were outraged when Elon Musk tweeted today that $59 million of FEMA money just went to hotels in New York City to pay for illegal migrants to be housed, when that money could have been very effective in addressing the problems in Western North Carolina or in L.A. after the fires.
Yeah. I think it looks like our federal agencies are finding it very easy to spend hard-earned taxpayer dollars without, they haven't had much scrutiny or oversight, and the more people are finding out about it, and it's not just, this one FEMA program, it's every agency, and just so much money that's going out the door in ways that are not serving the American interest.
So what does Mom think about all this?
She's as upset as everybody else. Yes.
All right.
So here
we'll have
are
her
again.
on one day. She can
And
tell us
it's
in
not
person.
going to end because, of course, it's Trump, and the left are going crazy anytime, or they go crazy anytime Trump says he's going to do something that he actually follows through, especially with this presidency, because unlike his first presidency, I liked his first presidency, but this presidency, of course, I like 10 times more, because you can tell that Trump has learned from his previous mistakes. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of backlash, but boy, is there a lot more backlash because of all this transparency, and especially the transparency surrounding DOGE. I mean, people are just, especially the left, they they are having a conniption over this. You would think that anyone would be happy to see where their tax dollars are going, how the federal government is spending their money, but not the Democrats. The Democrats are up here crying, complaining, calling foul, threatening to shut down the government in March, whenever the continuing resolutions deadline approaches, or it ends from the last time when they had to vote on keeping the government open. So they are just like besides themselves, and it should tell you a lot about, especially when you're a Democrat, or if you're a Democrat, it should tell you a lot about who you voted for, because at the end of the day, all of our tax dollars wound up in the same place. And majority of what we're finding out, those tax dollars are not winding up where we thought they would, or could even imagine to where they said that they would go to. And like you just saw in that Fox News clip where they were talking about freezing foreign assistance, the percentage of Americans, 56%, say yes, freeze foreign assistance. And I agree, because as you saw in the clip, or heard in the clip, a lot of that money could definitely be used here in the U.S. versus just sending it overseas and essentially landing into the wrong hands, or lands, if you want to say it that way. But it's like, why are they so upset about it? And then they're going to feed you the lie that Elon is trying to get into your Social Security. He's wanting your Social Security number. I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. Elon has no use for any of your information. As a matter of fact, you need to go back and think about who had, because of course Trump is in office and he's putting a lot of people out, but you need to go back and see who actually had access to your information before Trump. And I bet you it was not Elon. All of these bureaucrats, the left are right here crying, talking about, well, we didn't elect Elon, we didn't vote on Elon. Well, I tell you, god dang what, those of us who voted for Trump told us from the beginning Elon was going to be a part of it. Well, he told us in his campaign that Elon was going to play a role. Elon backed Trump early in his campaign and stuck with him through and through. And so we saw Elon. We know who Elon is. My question is, who are these other bureaucrats who weren't elected? We had no idea of. We have no names. We have no faces. Well, some of them. But the Democrats are acting like this is all brand new. But at the same time, they've been playing this whole thing from the get-go. Elon has no use for our money. Okay? None whatsoever. Just like Trump has no use for our money. Trump, again, declined a presidential salary. but by law, he has to accept, was it $4 a year or something like that? Again, has no use for our stuff. So you guys are over here just falling for the lies again. And it's also in the pulpit. Check this out.
This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go, and we will not go. So therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force. The kingdom of God is a war zone. It is a battlefield. You did know this, right?
So again, you have the left calling for violence. And it's like, for what? For what? This is the thing. All of this stuff was supposed to come to light years ago. And you would think that people would appreciate the truth. But you also have people who just can't handle the truth, honestly. They prefer to just remain in the dark about it. They don't want to know the truth. They're afraid that it's going to, what it will do to their reality, right? Because this whole time they've been played and they've been fooled to believe that all of this stuff was for their good, that they lived in this happy place, this where everything is good place. Stop. It's not like that. And you would think that, again, like this pastor who, I'm going to call a quote pastor because the way he teaches, that is not biblical at all. He's right here putting more faith in the government than he does in the one true God, with the sermon that he has put before his congregation. And again, they're over here spewing the same lies that you hear on CNN, MSNBC, and all of these other leftist media outlets. It's like, when do you essentially just stop? Won't you just stop and sit back? See what happens. Your life is not going to change for the worse. It's going to change for the better. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an adjustment period because what you're used to is no longer there. But this X post that Elon is responding to, it says, what the F do you think Elon Musk is going to do with your Social Security number? Tweet it? Open a line of credit you don't have? Exactly. And Elon is like, seriously. And for dang sure, I'm 1,000% more trustworthy than untold numbers of deep state bureaucrats and fraudsters who may be misusing your Social Security right now. I read somewhere where they also stated that there are repeated Social Security numbers. So your Social Security number, someone else may have. And how does that increases the chances of fraud? So there's a lot of ugly truths out there, and it's time for it to be known.
I just went in and had my taxes done. This year I earned $85,727. My net take home was $75,415. In federal taxes, I paid $10,312, And now they're telling me I still owe the federal government $1,428 for a total of $11,740 just in federal tax. Now, somebody please explain to me why the average citizen, the little guy, is paying $11,000 in tax, and our politicians are blowing that money on bullshit. I'm not paying taxes anymore. Kiss my ass.
This black man renounces the Democratic Party.
Democratic Party have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class. They've lied about being the party of peace. They've lied about being the party of that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good. These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people. And that's why I'm so angry. Because this party lied to me while stealing my tax dollars. The Democratic Party lied to us all while they brought in millions of illegal immigrants for their own political purposes for the last 4 years. 20 to 30 million illegal aliens brought in, and now we come to USAID being probably the largest money laundering operation in American history. Congratulations, Dems. You've outdone even Bernie Madoff. I'm disgusted beyond words. Disgusted with the waste of money. Disgusted with the waste, with the fraud, with the way that you people use color legitimacy, and the way you use black people as mules, get us to push whatever agenda you wanted to. The amount of division you used black people to sow upon the American people, you used us for that. And I will never ever forgive this political party. The shit that I've gone through personally. Y'all were supposed to be the party of free speech, the party of women's rights. You have immolated all of those things. And then, as if enough weren't enough, you then decide that you're going to die on the hill of USAID, a government audit. You're trying to prevent a government audit because some of you really are trying to stay out of prison. We see the game now. Y'all been out here telling us that the game was rigged against certain people. Well, now we found out who the people that were rigging the game were. Congratulations. Y'all are never going to win in another political race ever again. Not if I can help it.
My name is John.
All right, so that's all I got for you. I'm gonna close with this. DOGE has shaken up the entire world. Okay, everything that has been exposed and continues to be exposed is touching a lot of stuff that we had no idea it touched. We're finding out also that some of the money was used to fund refugee camps over, I believe it was in the UK. It's been used to use beagles as test animals in labs, and you can look that up yourself. As heartbreaking. So, and you would think that people will appreciate the truth. The truth isn't always what you want it to be, and just because you don't believe it still doesn't make it false. It's still true. It's on you on whether or not you still want to remain in the dark and completely, you just want to shut it out. But again, it's there, and I'm here for it. You have to appreciate the truth. So, but hey, again, I appreciate you all stopping by. Continue to like, share, comment, subscribe, and also hit that bell so you can receive a notification for when I do drop a new video. But also do this. Check me out on Instagram. I post on there a lot more than I do on YouTube. It's just easier to get the information that way, to get new stuff going out for you all. So check me out there too. And stay prayed up. Catch you all on the next one.